back this week to Real Bites with the Kirbys. We're so glad you joined us, and we're going to make my very loved lasagna. Now, I'm not claiming to be Italian or do it the authentic way, but this is my way, and I always get lots of compliments on it. So, let's dig in. I have oven ready, just generic lasagna noodles. I have just a generic ricotta cheese. I have some shredded mozzarella and some shredded Parmesan. And I have garlic and Italian seasoning. I also have a pound of hamburger and a jar of whatever your favorite spaghetti sauce is. And then I fill up the jar about halfway full of water, and I incorporate it back into the sauce. Give it a good shake, get all of it out, and I put it back in here. It just helps the noodles become more tender and not have a crunch to them. So let's dig in. And I also have my oven preheating at 375 while we're doing this. And this is really quite simple, but it's always a crowd pleaser. I once had a couple who had a baby, a friend of ours, and so I wanted to take them something home, a home-cooked meal to them after they got home. This is what I decided to fix. The father laughed and said that he would be willing to have another baby if it meant that he got another lasagna. So, it is fairly loved. So we're just going to take some ricotta, and we're going to just spread it all over the noodles. And the more cheese, the better, in my opinion. And by the way, my hands are very clean. Always keep clean hands while you're cooking. Keep them washed up. So I have the first layer of ricotta on, and then I'm going to sprinkle on. And I would like to tell you that I measure it, but I just give it a good eye. I just look at it, and when I think that looks good, that's what I go with. I would say there's probably maybe a teaspoon there. And then I go in with some garlic powder. Again, I do not measure. I'm not sure where I obtained my lasagna recipe, but over the years I've just tweaked it and made it my own. Let me not grab that hand. So I'm going to take my shredded parm in here too. And if you're in a pinch, you can use the grated Parmesan that you buy in the jar at, at the grocery store. They can also work, but I do say that the shredded Parmesan tastes a lot better. And then I just put a thin layer of my sauce and my cooked hamburger. You don't want it too thin. You just want to kind of make sure that you got enough juice there for those noodles. Now I go in and cover it with some shredded mozzarella. And if you had like a favorite Italian blend cheese that you like to use or make your own blend, you could certainly do that. There's nothing saying you had to stick to mozzarella. This is just how we do it. Now we will just keep layering, doing this exact same step over and over until we get as many layers as we want. Now, as I said, sometimes I get a little overzealous. So I'm going to grab another jar, and I'll be right back. The producer is eagerly awaiting a sample, but unfortunately he doesn't get a sample of this until everything's done, and he might get a little bite. So I just poured some just plain spaghetti sauce on there. And I'll go back in with my spoon, smear it all out. Now, mozzarella. I'm going to top this all off with mozzarella, and on my final top coat, I really like to put on the mozzarella, give it a good cheesy top. Who doesn't love some good melted cheese? And I use roughly about a pound of mozzarella cheese when I make this. Smooth it out, and then we're going to get some aluminum foil and cover this. I also will set my dish on a small cookie sheet just so the bottom doesn't burn, because like I said, I don't like crispy noodles at all. So let me get that wrapped up, and then we'll show you as I put it in the oven. I've got a baking sheet out, and I've got my lasagna sitting on it, and I've got a piece of aluminum foil. And we're going to wrap this up. And my oven is all preheated. And then we're going to put it in the oven at 375 for 60 minutes. And we'll be back in just a bit, and we'll show you the finished product, and we'll enjoy it together. Hi, we're back. And so this is cooked for an hour. I took it out of the oven, removed the foil, and I let it sit for about 10-15 minutes. That makes time for all those juices just to kind of sit back up in there, and so your lasagna is not all like running. So we'll get this all cut up, and we'll plate up, and we'll show you what it looks like when we've got it done. So we've got this cut. You can see how nice it looks with all the different layers. This has always been a family favorite. I can't wait to dig into this. Get a quick little bite. This is so good. You all enjoy. Have a great night. God bless.